of his visit to Ireland. We have to break at this point for World News America and the 10 o'clock news, which is coming up. But we are watching across this, and we will bring you the highlights of the speech in Ballina. You are watching BBC News.
I'm Carl Nasman in Washington, and this is BBC World News America. U.S. Guardsman Jack Teixeira appears in a Boston court. The 21-year-old has been charged in connection with a leak of secret government documents. Despite months of protests, pension reforms in France clear their final legal hurdle. The retirement age is now set to rise to 64. The U.S. Supreme Court puts a temporary hold on a ruling that would limit access to the abortion pill mifepristone. And a European space mission blasts off to explore the icy moons of Jupiter. Welcome to World News America on PBS and around the globe. We start here in the U.S., where 21-year-old National Guardsman Jack Teixeira has appeared before a judge in Boston accused of leaking highly sensitive military intelligence. The criminal charges filed against Mr. Teixeira, a member of the Massachusetts Air National Guard, shed new light on his access to the classified documents, his career in the military, and the timeline of events leading up to his arrest on April 13th. He now faces one count of unauthorized retention and transmission of national defense information, as well as one count of unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents or material. Together, the charges carry a maximum sentence of 15 years imprisonment. Our State Department correspondent Barbara Plett-Usher is outside the court in Boston right now. Barbara, what took place in that courthouse behind you today? A short time ago, I spoke about all of this with Congressman Jim Himes. He serves as the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. Well, joining us now is the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Jim Himes. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. I think the first question on many people's minds right now is, how did a 21-year-old National Guardsman, relatively junior position, how did he have access to such highly classified material? All right, Jim Himes, ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, thank you so much for your time. We turn now to France, where President Emmanuel Macron's controversial plans to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64 have cleared their final hurdle. The pension reforms have led to weeks of angry protests across the country, including in the capital, Paris, from where Hugh Schofield has sent this report. Hugh Schofield there for us. Now, the U.S. Supreme Court has temporarily halted a lower court ruling that would have set limits on access to the abortion pill mifepristone. It's the latest legal step in an increasingly complicated debate over the drug. Hanging in the balance is the level of access that millions of American women will have to mifepristone moving forward. The BBC's Jessica Parker has been following this story for us all week. She joins me now. Jessica, this is becoming quite complicated. What does this latest ruling mean? The legal battle goes on. BBC's Jess Parker, thank you so much for following that story for us. Now, the influential U.S. gun lobby, the National Rifle Association, or NRA, is holding its annual meeting. It comes after recent deadly shootings in Kentucky and Tennessee. Now on America's streets, experts are also sounding the alarm over so-called ghost guns. If you haven't heard of them, these are homemade, untraceable firearms that can be built with parts bought online. Neda Tawfik has this report. Now to some other stories making headlines. 28 members of Mexico's Sinaloa drug cartel have been charged with running a huge operation supplying the opioid fentanyl to the U.S. The U.S. Attorney General announced the charges today. Among those accused are sons of the cartel's jailed leader El Chapo and Chinese chemical producers. In the year 2021, nearly 107,000 Americans died from drug overdoses. The northwest coast of Australia has been hit by a powerful tropical storm. Cyclone Isla made landfall in the town of Port Hedland last night but avoided the most populated areas. Residents have been told to stay indoors as the storm continues to move inland. This is the strongest storm the region has witnessed in 14 years. Now, a large-scale prisoner exchange has begun between Yemen's Houthi rebels and the country's Saudi-backed government. The International Committee of the Red Cross says around 900 prisoners will be reunited with their families during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. The 8-year-long civil war has led to the deaths of thousands of Yemenis and created a major humanitarian crisis. Imogen Folks has more. Imogen Folks there. U.S. President Biden has been wrapping up his visit to Ireland, and it's been a trip close to his heart. He enjoyed a warm welcome at a homecoming celebration in County Mayo. That's, of course, his ancestral home. Mr. Biden also greeted well-wishers in Ballina, the hometown of his great-great-grandfather who emigrated to the U.S. in the year 1851. Now, the trip was primarily to mark 25 years since the Good Friday Agreement, but as has been noted throughout the week, the visit has been as much personal as it's been political. The European Space Agency has launched one of its most ambitious missions to date, sending a spacecraft towards Jupiter. It will take 8 years to get there, and when it finally does, it will begin a detailed study of the planet's major moons, including exploring whether they have the conditions needed to sustain human life. Here's our science editor, Rebecca Morell. Well, back down to Earth now, and finally, if you thought COVID lockdowns were rough, consider this. A Spanish endurance athlete has emerged from a cave after spending 500 days without human contact in what's thought to be a world record. Beatrice Flamini entered the cave 70 meters underground in Granada province when the world was still in the grip of the coronavirus pandemic. The 50-year-old spent her time exercising, painting, reading, and knitting woolly hats. Scientists monitored her but didn't make contact, gauging how she responded physically and mentally to the extreme social isolation. Thanks for watching. That's all we have time for today. I'm Carl Nasman. This is World News America.
Hello there. A west-east divide continues across much of Europe as we head